Yeah, jump in. Well, yeah, it should be good as long as you're not in front of
I'm
that.
not gonna stand front down behind it.
All right, guys, we're going to get started. We've still got a few people filtering in, but we're going to jump in here and get started. We really appreciate you coming today. We want to make sure that we're bringing extreme value. And I don't know if there's anything more valuable than getting a chance to hear from other top producing realtors to see what they're doing right now to grow their business and to thrive. We do have a sponsor. So here in the back, Troy Adams with Orchard Street Settlement. He is sponsoring our lunch. So we want to say thank you to him. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hey, I'm Troy Adams, thank you. Here, but the company I work for is Orchard Street Settlement, and we are a nationwide title insurance and closing company in all 50 states. So anywhere in the country, out of your footprint, I know you guys are probably your favorite little title company down the street or whatever, but if you get out of your footprint, let's help you out. Our website, orcharddocs.com, I'll leave some cards, but you can type in any address in the country and it'll tell you exactly what the title fees and the tax allowance that property. You have to borrow on the phone trying to sell the product, sell the house and everything. So, but that's us in a nutshell. Love to help you out anywhere, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joy. Hey, you all should have a folder. I want to go over a couple of things that is in there. Number one, we've got an event coming up in March. Our March event is going to be a lunch around March Madness. So we would love for you to come and join us, whether you love basketball or not. We're going to have a lunch on, what day is it? March 21st. So what is that? 1 month from today. But that's in there. Please come join us. The other thing, you've got a notes section and a we need your help form. We don't get paid to do lunch and learns. We are not professional speakers, but we appreciate you being here. Take that out. And if you think of someone that needs to get pre-approved, we would love for you to take the time, fill this out. We will take great care of your people. We're going to collect these at the end. So that'll just give you time if you do think of somebody over the next hour or so. Our real estate panel. Number one, thank you guys so much for joining us. These guys are taking time out of their day to share about their business. So we are super grateful that you would do that. Eddie Rockenstock here with Benchmark. Eddie he's been in the business 11 years. 11 years, did over 18 million last year. He was also the president of MTAR. So Kenny Salas, 6 years, is that right? 6 years, 25 plus million last year with Keller Williams. Robin Underwood. Robin, when did you start your company?
This
August. So she's been in the business 5 years, just started her own company. Is 20 plus million last year. Does that sound right? And then on the end, Justin Tucker, 11 years in. Is that right? That's not right. 9 years. 9 years in. Started Platinum Realty Partners when? 3 years ago, and 44 plus million last year. So really good producers. And we really appreciate them being here. Mitch, you want to take us away and start us with the first question? We're going to do also a question and answer at the end. So if you've got a question that you think of, write it down. We're going to leave time at the end for everybody to ask. But there's a chance that we will ask it before the end. So.
Yeah, thanks, Clint. So really the first question is, y'all obviously great producers. And I kind of want to get an idea of, who's the structure of, like, you have a team, who's on your team as far as like, what are their roles? And how did you decide maybe to like, who you were to hire first to get to that? So Eddie, you want to take it away?
Sure. So I have a transaction coordinator, 2 buyer's agents, and a part-time marketing group. So I started with the transaction coordinator, helped kind of buy back some time. Buyer's agents next.
Awesome. And do you have like a niche or anything like that you work in, or you just have like anything that comes, you pick?
Sure.
Okay. Sounds good. Go ahead.
So we've got, started off with me, hired a full-time assistant. Very friendly on my here. That person was doing transactions well as just any kind of administrative type stuff. From there, it kind of grew. Now my wife Kelly and I do the whole thing together. She runs the operations side. Doug Farrell runs the operations side. I run more of the sales side. We've got 5 buyer agents, 1 listing agent, and full-time marketing, full-time.
So would you say, five buyers agents, would you say you're more buyer heavy than listing heavy?
No, we're not. We're listing agents.
Okay,
We're just at a point where we're working to focus listings on Kelly and I, and our listing agents, and then try to really get the buyers agents working with buyers so that we can work on a lot of other things that we have going on. So it's really just trying to segment the two a little bit so that it works for everybody.
right on. Robin?
So, when we started out, it was myself and Heather, she's our office manager, at this point in time. And then we now have 11 agents combined, since August of this past year. We'll have some more testing. But, Heather had started, I was sort of like Kenny, first year in, I was like, you feel like you can be a little more efficient if you're able to work the field more and not be as tied down with paperwork. And I think one of the best decisions that I ever made early on was hiring Heather to help me. She's my sister-in-law, my best friend, office manager. It doesn't get any better than that. So find somebody you can trust, you can rely on, and I have that person. So that was, to me, first thing and first and foremost was that. My husband, he's a physical therapist. He actually quit doing physical therapy to help me as well. So we do a lot of boots on the ground, and very hands-on with the properties that we're working with. And then we have 11 agents. Of those agents, I have 1 that's doing social media management. One thing that is hard for me sometimes, and maybe for you guys too, is to just step away and let somebody else take care of it. Because I'm a very hands-on person. But we've got a team that is very talented. We have Marianne that's amazing in technology. Jennifer's been in real estate longer than I have. And I think it's been able to play off all those key points and those strengths that other people in your team have that maybe you don't have as much time to focus on, but they enjoy doing those. So we also have Candy doing social media. And sometimes when we go to clean houses, we'll do a lot of house cleanings as well. You might find 3 or 4 on our team that transition to payroll for that day and are getting paid to do that. So our team, it may look different for a lot of people, but a lot of our agents are actually carrying some roles in the office as well besides agents.
That's great.
All right, so when I started, I had one person,
And- Just, can you guys hear well in the back? Can we speak up a little bit? Yeah.
So when I started, I had 1 transaction coordinator, basically did everything for me, up until I averaged 3 different deals a month. Okay. Once I did that, I started to split off the roles. Currently we have 4 salaried people on the team. I have 1 that does strictly marketing. I have 1 that does gifting. That's all they do is gifting. And then we have a listing coordinator and I have a transaction coordinator, and she's also my personal assistant. So she manages my calendar and manages my calls every day. Then outside of that, I have 4 buyers agents, and all they do is show properties and do open houses. That's it. And then I do all the listings, listing coordinator. So that's how we're structured. But it took a while to grow to that, obviously.
So, theme here is everybody up here has a team, has people that help. Not everybody in the room has a team, wants a team. So I would love to hear if a solo agent wants to get to that point or is already at that point, like how do you know you're at that point? And then who's the first hire and why? Justin, let's start on your end. Who's the first hire and why? And how do you know you need a person?
Here's how you know. You take the last 3 to 4 months of your business, and if it's not consistent within 1 deal, then you need help. Because if you go from 3 deals, 1 deal, 4 deals, you've lost all your momentum. You've got to consistently keep your momentum. And in order to do that, you've got to have help. So you've got to track your numbers and you got to actually look at it and say, where am I losing out at? So typically most agents that I see and talk to, they get really, really busy and they stop prospecting. Okay. That's the one thing you cannot stop doing is prospecting. That's one thing that does not change for me. 4 hours a day, I'm prospecting. Nothing happens in those 4 hours except for that. So after today, I mean, I'm gonna go the next 4 hours and prospecting calls. So I'll make 40 to 50 calls today. Database calls, VIP calls. So that's what I would say.
Who makes you do that?
Jamie, my personal assistant, she sends me an email out every day, the day before 4:30, tells me who I've got to call.
But you do it. Nobody's forcing you to do it. You
No, no.
just do it so you can keep your business living life.
That's it.
That's the key.
That's it. That's it. My goal is to have one warm referral lead every day. So, that's my goal. I had 44 warm referral leads last month. So it's all activity.
5 days a week, 4 hours.
That's it.
Because basically you did the prospecting when you got started.
Yeah.
To get the business, and in order to keep the business going, you had to keep doing the prospecting, so you had to audit, you know.
I call every past client every single month, whether I talk to them or not, they get a call from me. So it's now up to 610 people that I call every single month, including my database, my VIPs, all of that. So then I have realtors that I call in other states. They're on my call list for referrals.
Does anybody differ from that? The original question, how do you know when to hire and who do you hire first? Anybody got a thought or a different, opinion on that?
A lot of. You see it both ways. You see people start to get help too late. They're too busy and they're running themselves crazy and they don't get home at night. And they're showing houses every day after work or after people's work, and they don't see their kids and all that. So like, people do it way too late. You need to do it when your life gets, to me, when you're not living the life you meant to live in the first place, when you got into real estate. That's the time to do it. For different people, it's different times. But you see the other side too, and people wanting to start a team or partner up when they do 2 deals every 3 months. You can get in trouble doing it too early too. I think it's just finding the balance for you, but for us, we have kind of figured out that, you know, just starting a team initially, it doesn't save you time at first. It costs you time at first. You've got to figure out how to actually run it and what roles are. And we've talked about this plenty of times, but it's really hard. It's really difficult. So sometimes people want to jump to a team because it's going to make things better and easier and everything. It doesn't always work that way, especially if you don't have business that you can make their business better and their lives better by helping them. Then you kind of take it from everybody, and it's unintentional, but that can happen.
It's fair to say that if you hire somebody, but then you don't go do the prospects and fill in the time that they're taking on the plate, there's no point,
Yeah,
right?
now you're just not working a full-time job, which that's the struggle for so many already, working too much and not working enough, so. Yeah.
I would say go back and track your time spent, right? If you're going and you're prospecting, I think we all, it's Justin over there, but right, if we can do 4 hours of prospecting and 2 hours of prospecting, or even 30 minutes, right? And track what results come from that time. And then if you're making, I don't know, what would you say you make prospecting time? $200 an hour, $300, $500 an hour. Does it make sense to go back and do $12 or $15 an hour work? It doesn't, right? So that's where, when you start figuring out where your time spent and what you're making for that time, hire somebody that does that for that right price so that you can be doing the things that make the right amount of money for you.
And I would feel like if I were sitting out there and I was I still feel like I'm a younger agent as far as years. There's a lot of you got more years on me by far and more knowledge probably than I have. But one of the things that I'm a big believer in, if you're sitting there thinking, how can I get to the point? First, I've got to get there. How do I get there where I need that assistant or where I need a transaction coordinator? You know, I'm a big believer in branding yourself. And I've got a son that's new in real estate, and I tell him constantly, Grant, what have you done today to brand yourself? Where are you being seen on social media? You've got to brand yourself that when people think they think real estate. You know, or when someone thinks real estate, I'm gonna list my house, you need to be the first one that comes to mind because you were in front of them all the time, whether it be on your local billboard, whether it be on your daily social media post, newspaper. I like social media because it's very affordable, but I do believe that billboards do, help brand you, that people see that every day and they start thinking real estate. So I would say number one, if you're just thinking, I just want to get to where I need a transaction coordinator, brand yourself. Make sure people know, stay in front of your sphere of influence, make sure you're sending out flyers to those people, different things. So I think first you've got to brand yourself to get there. That when people think real estate, they think you.
I love it.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah,
All right, everybody in the room, who has a listing? Who has a listing right now? Okay, keep your hands up. If you do only one post for that closing, drop your hand. You do 2 posts for that closing, drop your hand. All right, so every time you have a listing, you need to do at least 3 to 4 posts about that listing. Got one under contract. I closed it. It was referred. This was referral. Until you get super established and you're doing a lot of deals, you need to try to have a different type post. It don't have to be the same, the people at closing table. It can be the house that they're buying, the house that they sold, you're under contract on it. You need to maximize every bit of business that you have until you have enough where you do sell 5 a week, right? Because then at that point, you're getting excessive. But up for the first year or two, you need to get all the juice out of the turnip, right? So if you get a listing, make 2 or 3 posts about it at different stages.
Yeah, and with that, like for the most part, we're hiring photographers out, right?
Yeah.
So you get one post that's good, coming soon, and it's your pictures. When then just active is the video. And then it's been sitting there for a week or 2. However, whatever it is you decide to do, another post, open house is coming, and you post the nice flyer that they sent you. It might not be the greatest flyer in the world that you would have made yourself or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a third piece and it looks different. So the person who's casually seeing you on social media all the time, they will tell you, man, it looks like you're killing it. Oh no, I had one listing in the last 3 months. I just posted about it 7 times and it looked different each time. People don't pay that much attention. They notice things and they see them sort of at a distance, but all they know is you've listed 7 houses, and you're not being dishonest. You're just posting different pieces of information. So it's somebody in a different way.
It's about staying top of mind.
Yeah, and it's just like Justin said, we like to do it like that. When you get them with pictures, video, flyer, open house flyer, just different.
Coming
So it
soon.
looks different. Yeah.
Coming soon.
Yeah, so, we always talk about in our office having a positive mindset in this, market and just in general. But, how have you all had a positive mindset through, what we've gone through over the last year or so? And then like, how do you take that into this year and looking ahead, what you see coming, down the pike here?
We sort of went a different direction. As you saw things start to slow down, it looks like things are gonna slow down for a little bit and get, worse than they were. We said, okay, this is the perfect opportunity. Since we're gonna slow down, let's grow. So we hired tons of people. We started a property management company. We started a construction company. We hired agents. Because look, there's always an opportunity in something. The opportunity didn't seem like it was gonna be selling more houses last year than we ever had before. We weren't far off, but that didn't seem like the opportunity. The opportunity was, okay, we might have a second year to breathe, nail down our systems, hire some people, put some things in place and set some things in motion so that February, this month, is our biggest month we've ever had. Not 2020, 2021. This February, 2024 is our biggest month we've had. And I really think it's from seeing the opportunity of, instead of down and doom and gloom because things are slowing down. Things are slowing down perfect. Now we can set stuff up for the future. You still have that opportunity.
That's great. Seeing the positive.
Yeah, and there's always,
In the
positive, there's
downturn.
always opportunity for something, you know, and that's just the way we kind of.
Anybody got anything different?
I want to learn. I would say for us, it was, as we saw the time coming, a little slower, is an opportunity to be a little more reflective, right? Start working on your systems a little bit more, dialing in, finding where your gaps are, some of the things that you've been missing. And of course, communication and customer service is always top. So how do you do that a little bit better?
So, yeah, so that's interesting, because I hear that the theme between you two, and I'm sure you all have kind of the same theme there. It's like when it slows down, working on your business, it's like you don't win the Super Bowl, then put in the perfect game plan, right? Or hire the coach or the quarterback, right? You try to get those in place to get there, right? So that's good stuff. Justin?
So, last year was still pretty busy for us. It wasn't like a booming year. Our volume was up. We did less deals. I used last year as an opportunity because a lot of agents got out of the business. These loan officers can probably tell you there's a lot less people to call and talk to because they're probably not around. People don't want to talk that much, so they don't have a lot of good stuff going on. Okay. I used that opportunity to change my list and to figure out who I want to be in business with. That's what I did. About half of my time was getting new relationships, referral partners. I think that's the number one key to success in our business is being in alignment with who you want to work with. Okay. At first, you're trying to work with everyone, okay, because you need everyone at first. And then as you start to evolve, you say, hey, who do I want to work with? Who do I align with, right? It's like Chris, he's not here today, but Chris and I are very, very good friends, okay? Daryl and I are very, very good friends. Clint's okay. It's a joke. But, I own a mortgage company, okay? I own a mortgage company, but
You're not supposed to talk about that. We told you.
But I sent Daryl leads last year, did I not?
You did.
I sent Chris leads because my mortgage company don't do leads outside the state, but I have a lot of people outside the state, right? So figure out who you want to be in business with, okay? I don't expect them to give me a lead. Sometimes the best gift that we can do is give someone a lead, help them out. And people who give will get, right? So if we focus on those types of things, our business will flourish. It will happen naturally.
Is it okay then, if you're getting started, to be exclusive in who you choose to work with, or would you say to go ahead?
When I started, I'm just gonna be honest, when I started, for the most part, I was exclusive, right? Daryl and I probably did, I can't even tell you how many deals. How many deals we do, Daryl?
I don't know, a lot.
A bunch. Probably 90% of my deals went through Daryl, unless someone had a family member that was a loan officer. Or they had some kind of something that I didn't feel like we can't steer them. You got to kind of match make in our business. I mean, with personality. So I don't think it's, have to be exclusive, but I do think it's important to also spread it around because you never know what you're missing if you don't do that. Clint might be the best person for your business.
Say that again.
Clint might be the best person for your business, or Mitch might be, or Daryl might be, or Chris might be, right? There's things that Clint probably brings to the table that Chris don't bring to the table, right? So it's good to know all of them because you might have a client that fits one of them better than the other.
He is Rachel, so yeah, definitely.
Hey, Steph, I want to just get you all to say your business. Where does the majority of your business come from? Do you know like percentages? But like, where does your business come from? Let's run down the list.
Okay, so last year, 84% of my personal business come from my past clients and VIPs. Okay, the rest of it, this is something that no one talks about, Google leads. Okay, every other lead I got was from Google reviews. This is a crazy number I'm going to tell you about 2024. I have 7 under contract from Google leads for 2024 for $0 off of reviews. Okay. The net commissions on those this year is $194,000. Zero cost. Okay,
How many reviews do you have?
107.
How did you go?
I asked my people for that,
They're past clients.
past clients. At the closing table, I send them the link to my business profile. And I tell them, this is the last thing you get before you get your key. Do this for me.
And that's
They will do it. They should do it.
That's an awesome tip. If now, let's say you're a realtor and you've got clients from the last 2 or 3 years that haven't done a review. What would you do?
Well, when I have my quarterly events, I invite everyone who has not sent me a review, and they are at a different table until they do a review. That's true. So, but I will get them, but I don't want to have an influx of them. It looks funny on Google. So like 2 or 3 a month, and you'll stay top of the page.
So the point is, he's aware of it. He asks for it. He expects it. But what we ask for, we get, right? I just want to point this out before we go to Robin on the same question. Justin like really knows his numbers, right? How many people would have said, well, probably about, I don't know, 80% of my business, 80, maybe 90%. 84% of my business came from a specific place, right? He prospects for 4 hours a day. It's not 3.5. It's not sometimes I do this. Like he's really specific on what he's doing. That's why his results are so good. Robin, where does your business come from?
Sorry.
Where'd you go to high school?
Yeah, I went to high school.
Thank you. So most of our business comes from, I would say, sphere of influence, referrals from past clients. And I think just overall advertising, as we branded ourselves. My past career, I was in insurance and investments. I done group benefits. So, and I worked with Medicare clients. So through that, being from a small town, we live in Smith County, where our business is off the Gordonsville exit. Over those years, you know, you've been able to encounter a lot of people, and you've been able to work with a lot of people. And most of you probably had a career before you had real estate. Work off of that. And that's one thing that I think's really helped me. So, and we go a broad range out. You know, I've had listings in Clarksville. I've had sales in Knoxville. We travel. We try to not just stay, because if we stayed in our rural area, it would be much harder for us to be successful. So we open ourselves up. We travel wherever we need to go. And, but mainly our business is coming from what I feel like, if you treat people right, they're going to come back to you, bring value to the table in everything that you do when you're working with people. And I think it'll always come back to you.
Yeah, love it. Kenny?
So ours, Justin kind of got me. I think our number is 84%, but it might not be. I'm not as sure as he is. But from sphere of influence, just people around us, people we know, that kind of thing. So we had the rest is, it'll be random stuff. It'll be Google calls or calls from our Google. We have, I think the same, it's terrible. I think it's 107 reviews also. I'm just using whatever it is. But I think it's 107. But it's great. I mean, asking for those reviews, getting those reviews, something that we do to go back and try to get, because at first we did years ago, we wanted reviews on Zillow because that's where people were looking. And so, but at some point we kind of stopped that and wanted to get them to Google. So we did Facebook reviews for a while. Now we're all in on Google stuff. And what we'll do is as we do giveaways or as we do contests, or quarterly events, and we do client events and that kind of thing, we're doing the same thing there. We're asking an extra entry for past clients who do to this or to that. And so that's how we sort of harvest old reviews that we get. So we go back and we try to do things like that. We've got the events, the giveaways. We have one right after this. And, you know, people will probably leave us some reviews today just based on that. So that's, but that's where a lot of the rest of our 16% comes from. Google stuff, and then also sign calls. And sign calls are hard when you don't have a ton of listings out there. So it really all goes back to your database, your sphere of influence, talking to those people, being in touch with them, because if you're not in touch with them, they would use you if they remember you. Hopefully, they have to remember you. If they don't remember you, if Eddie's sign goes in the yard of one of my friends, it's my fault. It's not anything that I can't believe they didn't call me. That's on me. They didn't trust me as much as they trust Eddie. Okay, that's a me thing. Maybe they didn't think of me, they thought of Eddie. Again, that's a me thing. Maybe they don't think I'm as good. Again, a me thing. So we can get worried about like, well, they chose this person or that person. People do it all the time. They're gonna choose who they trust and who they think about. So you've got to fall in there somewhere, but it all comes back to you. And in real estate, we're really good at going, well, if only the market, if only the rates, if only. It's really us. I mean, it's always us. And we can control it.
Eddie, your business?
Yeah, so we're 90% referral, and everything else is the small stuff, sphere of influence. But I'll add something to what Kenny was talking about there. NAR put out a stat not too long ago, I think it was maybe in October, that 90% of all buyers would use their same realtor again. And then after 4 years, only 17% do their agent's name.
That's crazy.
That's great.
I want to run back down, but so the common theme, right? Good producers, closing a ton of business. Almost all of it comes from a sphere of influence database, right? So what are you guys actually doing to generate that business, right? I'm assuming you've got a plan that you're following. So like, give us like the top 1 or 2 things that you do. And we'll start with Eddie and go back down.
Sure. I call everybody in our database 4 times a year. And then we do 4 client events, so they get another phone call from those 4 events, personal invitation to that. They get I guess branded newsletter once a month, and in every newsletter, we have something of value, whether it's invite to a client event or a free donut or a free cup of coffee with somebody local. So trying to provide that value. Sorry, what was the
That
rest of
was
the
it. That was.
That was all of it?
On the client event, just curious, on more granular level, like what specifically, do you have the same events every year? Or like what events are they?
Yeah, so we try to change up a couple of them. We used to rent out movies, but then we're kind of a little bit harder with this. We do a day at the park at Charlie Daniels where we bring out a band and have a bunch of food trucks. We're renting the bowling alleys this year. Then we usually do like an ice cream social, something that's really easy. I think that one costs us maybe $200 for 300 people. Yeah, just some small stuff.
What about you, Kenny? How do you actually generate it?
It's funny, and you're probably gonna hear the same thing all the way across. And if you look this stuff up on YouTube or Google or whatever, you're gonna find a lot of the same things. Quarterly phone calls, monthly mailer, monthly email, they get a birthday card. That's exactly the same stuff Eddie just said, right? And home anniversary, there you go, yeah. And then there's other touches along the way too. So we also try to send a text twice a year. If it's not, and that's a scheduled text, not scheduled, but this week we're texting people with the last name D. Okay, that's just gonna happen. We're going to do that. Now, that doesn't mean we're not gonna talk to them next week either. But this week, that's what we're gonna do. And then that'll come back around in, August or September. All right, but then the person with the last name D is gonna get a phone call, whatever. End of March, end of May, end of June, whatever. But they're scheduled. So we have all those. We do the events also. So we have 4 big client events, 4 big quarterly events that everybody or a lot of people are invited to. And then we have smaller events, almost monthly. I don't know if we have 12 or 10, but it's pretty much monthly. And we rent out a jump park. We have a sound game where we have a whole upper deck rented out. Those are big ones. Those are expensive ones that are hard to do if you're not partnering with people. But some small stuff we do, like we partner with a church in town and do pumpkin giveaway around Halloween. Well, all we're doing, you know how many people show up? We invite everybody in our database. 17 people show up and we spent, $5 per pumpkin. It goes to the church. So the money's going to a good place. It looked good for us. We posted on social media. We do all that stuff. And people think we give away all these pumpkins. And we would, if they all showed up, we'd give every one of you a pumpkin. But you're not going to come, so like that's something easier you can do. A hot dog vendor. Like our office is on the square in Lebanon. So during the summer, we take a different Friday when we do like snow cones one day, just free, whoever, anybody walking by. We invite our people, but anybody walking by too, and they're like, well, why are y'all doing this? It's just fun. And we might spend $300. Those are things like individuals can do, but you just don't, like, it's right there. You can do those smaller.
The power's in the invite.
Absolutely, yes, yes. You invite them, you miss them, call them, tell them you miss them, hope you can make the next one. You get 2 or 3 calls off of one event.
And it gives you reason to call,
Yeah, you don't have to.
invite them to it and follow
Right,
up.
and that's where our 4 quarterly calls, a lot of times we're not calling just being weird and I say weird, people don't have to be weird when they're calling and asking for a referral or just saying, hey, just checking in on you, how's the house? You know, anybody else that I could help? I'm not good at that conversation. Plenty of people are. I think Justin's very good at that, right? Yeah, but I'm not. So my calls, I'm just inviting people to events all the time. That's all I'm doing. And then I might ask them something about the house or this or that, but it's easy for me because I'm just invited to an event.
Right.
So we recently have subscribed to Chime, which is now Lofty, which is a CRM system. And it'll help us to be able to stay in touch with clients. So on their birthdays, it's automatically going to send them out a text and an email. It's also going to, make contact every different holiday, and as well as information that we want to customize to them. So that'll help us to be on top of things with them and stay in front of them, just helping with the branding and the mindset of the reminder so that they remember us when it comes time for a referral or a new purchase or a sale. And I'm sort of like Kenny. It's sometimes you may not get a lot of people show up to some of the things you do, but it's that seeing that you've done it, right? It's the thought that counts, and they don't know. One of the things we bought all kinds of flags to give away to veterans for Veterans Day. Love our veterans. If you're in here, thank you. But we done that as they picked up. We took their picture, we posted it on social media, and we did try to push that about our veterans and free flags. And we wanted to see them, at the houses in our communities. And so we done that as well. One thing that we're working on is partnering with a local coffee shop. We Love You Latte. And giving 2 hours that morning where our agents are there. Anybody in our community, if you've ever done business with us, if you thought about doing business with us, if you're a lender, if you're an attorney, it doesn't matter. We want you to come in and have coffee on us. We Love You Latte. So that's one of the things that we're looking at. I think anything that you can do in your community that puts yourself out there, I think that it's safe. And, of course, you want to be genuine in everything that you're doing. But handwritten thank you cards, that's one thing. When I go to a closing, when I come back, Heather has it already addressed and has it laying on my desk, ready for me to start writing. And if it's not there, she'll say, you got that card? So a lot of times at night, I'll sit and write my thank you cards for the week. And, if I get a referral from someone, we're going and buying gift cards and sending them to them, just saying thank you for the referral. It doesn't matter that I may not list it. I may not be the one to take them to look at houses, but it's the thought that they thought enough of me to refer them to meet a family. So I think that means a lot. So write thank you cards, send little tokens of appreciation, and continue to stay in front of them.
Justin?
All right, so I was born in the wrong decade. So with all this stuff they talk about Chime and systems, I couldn't tell you half the things my team does, okay? I'm gonna give y'all probably the biggest nugget of the day, so write this down. Y'all ready for this? CCR, write CCR down on a piece of paper. Okay? We're gonna skip through all this and get y'all some money, okay? Because I do track numbers, I'm gonna give you a crazy number. I'm gonna do it in trying to help these people who brought you. All right? CCR. Last year, our goal is to get 1 CCR, a current client referral, before you close a transaction. Okay? Most people are a single agent. So preach this to my team. Last month, we've got 8 CCRs, okay? If you get a CCR, you are doing an outstanding job. It don't mean they like you, it means you've done an excellent job. You get a past client referral, you did a good job. They liked you as a person. They like Clint. He was decent during the process, but I like Clint overall. I'm gonna give him a referral in 6 months. If Clint's team does a great job, they're gonna be yelling their names every day they go to work, when they go to church, and he will have a lead. Now, I'm gonna give y'all, this is the staggering part. We track this. Well, I track it. My team don't know I track it all the time. We give out leads last year. We give out 77 leads last year to VIPs, to lenders, and I track how many business leads we got back. 211. Now, what does that really mean? Here's what it means. If you refer business, you might not directly get business from Clint if you give him a deal, because he might not have a deal to give you. But the way the world and this whole thing works is you give and you're gonna get back. The year before, we give out 54 leads and got 134. Okay, so it's over double. So CCRs, do a good job, ask for the lead, okay? At the end of this, I'm gonna show you guys how to do that, and I'm gonna change your mindset on that. So I wanna get these guys like 30 leads out of this room today, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. Okay?
So you're gonna give us the script for getting the CCRs
Y'all gonna see it
at the end.
at the end.
Okay, that's why you gotta stay.
There you go.
I do want to say one thing. I want to be totally transparent and honest here, okay? If you told me right now to open Chime, Lofty, and put something in there, I don't have a clue. I don't know how to do it. I know that I'm paying for it every month, but these ladies do. They know how to do it. Heather gets my leads in and it does do its job. Now, I'm old fashioned too. But these ladies make me better because they're good at technology. They're good at what they do. And again, that's bringing that team together. My weaknesses are their strengths and they make me better. Find people that make you better and that you can help make them better. I think that's the key to being successful is collaboration in what we do.
Can I ask one question?
So this is for all 4 of you guys. So everything right now is we're talking about outgoing stuff. My biggest question and struggle is incoming calls. So whether it's yard signs, Google calls, or even you've been prospecting. Of course, most people don't pick up and they'll call. I'll usually get a lot of calls back in the afternoon when I'm on to whatever else it is. How do you guys handle that? Are you getting calls directly to your phone? Are you kicking things off to an assistant? How are you filtering that?
Okay, so who do you want to answer your lead call?
I mean, ultimately me, but the big problem is every time that's interrupting me from something, right? As a solo agent, we're really busy, whether it's doing showings or something else. And I think a lot of us know, especially if it's Google lead, they're just going down the list. So, when speed to lead is crucial. But you're missing that.
All right, so I'm gonna say until you're doing more than 60 deals a year, you take every lead call. Okay, now, does that mean you gotta answer it right then? No. Something that changed my business, every day I change my voicemail. Okay, and I say in my voicemail, thanks for calling. You called Justin Tucker. Today is Wednesday, the 21st of February. Leave your name, number, and a brief message. I'll call you back. Okay, people say, why do you do that? They know I woke up today. Okay, they know I woke up. I call everyone back. Everyone back. If they called, I will call them back before I end the day. Why? Because it's a priority to me. That's it. So, listen, I'm really passionate about this, and I don't mean this to be any way, but I know how busy I am. People don't do things because it's always not a priority. Okay? For me, I want my business to be X, right? I want to do 12 deals a month, right? Okay? Well, does that mean that I'm gonna have to sit in the driveway and make 4 callbacks real quick? Yeah, sometimes I do. I try not to do that, but sometimes I have to. And I feel like it's an honor and a blessing that I have to do that sometimes. Okay, so I think a lot of that though, like the struggles you're talking about is just setting up your day a little bit better, right? Or maybe leave a callback time. Say, I'm gonna leave an hour of callback time. So if you leave a message, I'm gonna call you back between 3 and 4. And you do nothing on your calendar between 3 and 4. Now, if you only have 2 calls to make, then you can go do something else or go eat ice cream. It doesn't matter. But you're gonna call everybody back that you didn't answer. Now, what I found by doing that when I started that is I tried my darndest to answer every call because I didn't want to call back 17 people. Okay, so we have to train ourselves every day. Okay, this is the long-term game here. It's not, you don't show up at Alabama with Nick Saban and be conditioned the first day. A lot of people don't see the field till they're juniors or seniors. So gotta have that mindset, right? Does that help?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And we'll have more time too for questions at the end, maybe dive in a little deeper on some of that stuff too. But, we touched on technology a little bit. I just wanted to pass along to Kenny and Eddie about, like, are there systems that you're using right now, technology wise, that you are like your go-tos that are staples for your business? And, are you working them? Do you have your team working them? And, for texting, emailing, so what technology are you using that you think you can't live without?
So we use Boomtown, our CRM. I'm with Robin, like I don't do it. But this can sound however it sounds. I don't really have to, right? Like, I'm here talking to y'all. We're gonna be friends, like you're gonna come up and talk afterwards and like, we're gonna get to know each other and be friends. Same thing if I go to lunch, same thing where I was before this, like, I am better out and talking to people and making friends and just seeing the friends I already have, right? Like already just making better relationships with the people I already have relationships with and then meeting new people too. But if you're not at a point where that's sustaining your business and growing your business, then you have to get systematized and regimented in just what Justin's saying. I mean, like, and that's what Boomtown does. It has tasks, it has, hey, do this, make your calls, make your texts, do all these things. That's what we use. Do I do it perfectly? No, it's not my personality, but also I'm better doing other things. But it's very good for what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, we use Follow Up Boss, and I will say the same things. I'm just good enough to go in there and find out what I'm supposed to do that day. But when I started, I had to be good at it, right? So you did it because you knew that would get you to where you're growing. And once you grow and get to that certain level, that's when you hire people that are good at that stuff that, I should not be going in there and spending 20 minutes on something I'm not very good at when somebody that I know is good at it can spend 2 minutes to do the same task, right? So that's how we leverage it.
You guys are more or less asking who can do this for me rather than how can I do this, right? And somebody do that. And if you're, I guess, a solo agent, what would your first step there in using that technology? If I don't know where to begin, like, would you look for somebody to help set it up for you? Like, what would you do?
I started a long time with an Excel spreadsheet that I went in and typed in. For all my phone calls, I typed in the notes and then I printed it out the next month. So I knew what I talked to them about the last month or 2 months ago. It could really be this notebook paper to start. And then as you progress, use more technology.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a choice. Solo agent and you're starting off, whether you're starting off or not, you just don't have a choice. This is the job that you've chosen. So that was your choice. Now your choice is to succeed or fail. So figure it out. Or say it's too hard and don't figure it out. That's it. I mean, but what happens when you decide not to choose to figure it out? That's when the market sucks. That's when rates just not like that's when those things happen. Like if you choose to figure it out, answer the phone, go do this, go do that, like you stay busy. I mean, and like you look up here, all the notes that everybody's taking here, like, staying in learning and always growing and always trying to figure out more and more and more. That's, you have to figure things out. So you have to be everything. And there's beauty in that too. Like, I'd say all of us would at some point be like, man, it's nice being by myself. Just doing the whole thing by myself. I knew exactly what was going on. So it's cool being in charge of the whole thing, but you have to do it. You have to figure it out.
I would love to hear what your typical day looks like, from a couple of you. So if you feel like, you know, you've got a structure around your day, your day's chaos, like what does it look like?
Okay, I'll tell you what my day is. Every day I wake up at 6 o'clock, okay? My kids don't get up till 6:30, so my wife goes and meditates and I read the Bible. First thing I do, every day, okay? We get ready, take the kids to school. We have Boomtown, so 8 to 8:30, I've got the app on my phone. I go through any task or anyone who's looked at a property on Boomtown and I reach out to them personally. Still to this day, I do that. 30 minutes, that's all it takes, okay? After that, I start my calls or whatever my calendar is for that day.
So you have a time block.
Time block, absolutely. And the deal with the calendar is you must have at least 1 to 2 hours of personal time block between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So it means you need to eat lunch, you need to have time to download, right? You need to have your own time to reset. We gotta have reset time. Like if you're really gonna do this business, you need a little reset time. A lot of times, like I will take my lunch and go sit at the lake and eat and like put my phone on airplane mode and forward it to the office for 30 minutes. The best time I have. And then I can dive right back in. So that's what I do.
Very structured. Anybody else?
So I do a lot of time blocking too, but the thing that we share a team calendar, but of course, my wife has control of that too, so she can time that. But every Sunday night, no matter what, 8:30 to 9:30 is my scheduling time for the week. So I go through every single day and I look at what I've got that day, what I've got, what my calls are. You know, if I'm in the X's for phone calls, I don't have very many calls that week, right? So looking at each day, making sure that, and I don't know how much time. So our team names some of the tasks, right? We have big rocks, little rocks, and pebbles, water, sand, however you want to do it. And so the big rocks go in first, they don't get moved. Small rocks could be something like inspections, right? I don't necessarily need to be at every inspection, right? I can have another agent do that. So those will go in there, but those can be assigned to different people. So time blocking, making sure the big rocks, which is the lead generating, the prospecting, those go in first, those don't get moved, everything else can kind of get moved.
I love it. If you were talking to a realtor that's been one-on-one, somebody who's been an agent for 2, 3, 4 years, and they're like, I really just want to grow my business. What's the best piece of advice you would give a realtor that's like, I want to do more. I've kind of hit a stopping point. What's the advice you would give them?
I'd start by asking, what time do you show up every day? Is it the same time every day? Is it after 8? Why? Okay, like if you want to grow, are you maximizing what you're already doing? Are you showing up at 8, leaving at 4 or 5, whatever time? If you're taking the kids to school and picking them up, great, there's your start and stop. Fine, but are you actually maximizing that time? Or are we doing, the realtor stuff where like we go grocery shopping and go to coffee and all of a sudden after that, we're in the office at 10, not doing anything, then lunch, then you got busy and, so like the first thing I would say is, are you actually working from the time you start work, whatever time you've chosen that to be, to the time you stop work? And are you maximizing what's in there? Are you time blocking? Are you actually working that whole time? Because if you're not, you don't really want to grow. You want the money, like, but you don't actually want to grow because you're not even doing your day. So that would be my first question.
I love it. Robin, what about you?
So, say the question one more time.
If you were talking to a realtor that's not brand new, they've been doing it 4 or 5 years, whatever, and they're like, I'm at a roadblock, or I want to grow my business. What should I do? What's the advice you would give that person?
So the first thing that I would ask, I think the more you put in it, the more you're going to get out of it. Just like Henny said, how hard are you working it? What are you doing? And this is what I tell our agents if you want to be different, you've got to be different. What are you doing to be different? What are you doing that says, I'm gonna pick him, I'm gonna pick her, and this is why? So I think you've got to do something, you know, for us, our niche is that, again, we are very hands-on. I've had some realtors say, why in the world are you cleaning that house today? Because that's what it does, that's what has to be done to take care of that listing today. That house is not show ready, and if it's not show ready, I'm not putting my name on it. Because that's gonna make that house move faster. It's gonna sell quicker. We're gonna put more money in pictures, photography. It's all, you know, when we go in, we have a job to do. And I think a lot of times as realtors, we take that job very lightly. It's sign this listing agreement right here. We're under contract. Congratulations. We close on this day. I'll see you at closing. And we collect your check and we go home. We will not grow our business doing that. We will fall by the wayside if that's how we handle working with our clients. In my opinion, we get paid very well for what we do, and we have to bring value that the clients say, wow, they're earning their money. That spreads. People want to use you. Take care, be hands-on, make sure you have, you know, the more you work with contractors, electricians, plumbers, you know, our two biggest needs in working repairs. And the most stressful time for a seller, I feel like, is when that repair list comes in, right? How many of you would say that's the dreaded part? It's not the appraisal, it's what does that repair list look like? And I think being a resource and being able to help organize that, most of the people that are our sellers, you know, I will help them through every bit of that, every step of the way, and make sure and follow up, get quotes, invoices, everything for them. We take the stress off of them. That's our job. We're supposed to carry that burden for the client. When there's a hiccup at closing, we're there, we're on top of it. So I would say that, you know, the most important thing we can do, if we're not doing something right, if our business is slowing down and not progressing, you've got to pinpoint, what is it that I'm not doing right? Where am I failing? And are you branding yourself? Have you slowed down on your marketing? Look in those areas and pinpoint why, first and foremost. You've got to figure out why.
You know what, so like the cleaning houses and the doing all that stuff, the difference is the caring. It's just caring, it's being a better friend and being somebody that they trust more than agent X, Y, or Z. Like it's not a specific thing, it's the care, they see it, they know, she's gonna take care of it.
You may come by and see Heather and I in front of a house soaking wet pressure. You might say, I don't know who they are, where's the makeup? I mean, they don't look like the same people, they're a disaster, but we're getting the job done because nobody else would go out and pressure wash that house today. So, yeah.
Mitch has
Break a
got
lot
a,
of nails.
Mitch is gonna have one more question, and then after that, we're gonna open it up. So be thinking, if you've got a question, stand up and speak it loudly, after this.
So this is similar to the last question, but I think it's kind of taking it back to when you first started. So if you could go back to when you first started in the business and tell yourself, like, give yourself one piece of advice that you know now and think that just, you know, explode your business, go back then and tell yourself that one piece of advice, what would it be? And start with you, Joe.
It's done anything to do with business. It would be, for me, would be know what your why is. That's it. That's it. Because if you know what your why is, you can attack it. Just like what they just said. They kept saying the word why in all their answers, right? But if you don't know why you're doing it, every client I talk to, every buyer consultation, every listing appointment, in my folder is the first page, my why. Because they're hiring us and they need to know why we want to be there.
What's your why?
My why?
Yeah.
Is I want to give people something that they can't get anywhere else. That's why I have a team. I mean, that's why I have buyer's agents that I give a 50-50 split to and I lose money on the lead. Okay? It's not that I want to make money on a 50-50 split, because anybody up here will tell you, if you have a buyer's agent on a 50-50 split, we don't make money, especially if we buy the lead. Okay? So if we buy the lead, we lose money as a team leader. Why do I want to have them? Because I've got people on my team that's done $1 to $3 million last year, and they've already got $4 million under contract this year. To me, I get more enjoyment watching someone else grow than the money, because money follows it. You know, if you help enough people, it'll follow. It's my why is to watch people succeed farther than they ever thought they could. That's including my clients. My clients, like, I had one that we just closed last Friday. 4th transaction, 9 years. The first time they ever did a loan, THDA. THDA had zero money. Their bank account, they had a bankruptcy, I think 3 years before that. They just walked away from the closing table with $474,000 net proceeds. They did. And it was like, for me, that was better than any of the commission I could have got off that deal. Because they sat there at the table and they closed that deal, and the wife was in tears and said, our family looks different because of what you did for us. That's it. So that's as good of a payment as the check, right? So if we go into every person and every relationship like that, right? How can I help this person? This person might need counseling on how do I build wealth? This person might be, how do I even save $2,000? How does buying a house project me to get to this point? We can teach all of that, right? But our job, and I think realtors as a whole, I'm going to speak with all of us, I don't think we try to ask those questions because it might make us a little uncomfortable. Like, what do you need? Like, if Clint called and said, come list my house, I'm going to go to him, I'm going to show him my why, and I'm going to say, what do you need from me? What am I asking? And I'm going to be quiet. And then I'm going to feel the need. I need my house sold for top dollar. Okay. That's easy. I mean, anybody can do that. Comp's comp, right? What else do you need? I'm going to keep pulling out of them what they need. Well, I need to figure out a way to fund 401k. I need to figure out a way to actually have a plan to retire. That's what I want to see, right? I want to see, I mean, I tell people, when you close with us, you're part of our family, right? You're part of our family. You're in it until you get a restraining order. You're part of it.
And that's happened a few times. Let's make sure we get the point there, because that's really big. Your why has to be big enough to get you out of bed in the morning. It has to be big enough to get you to do the work when you don't want to do the work. There are some days where the work is fun. It doesn't feel like work. Those aren't the days that we need a big why. We need it when it's hard, when I don't feel like getting up. But I'm going to get up anyway, and I'm going to do the work. Like, it will drive you to run through a wall because you care enough about it. I can't take Justin's why and make it mine and pretend like it's going to cause me to run through a wall. I've got to find my own, right? So if that's not a process that you've gone through, like, you should really figure out, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Why do I care? Because if you are chasing dollars, that typically doesn't do it. That runs out, right? That motivation runs out. But like what he said is, I could tell by listening to him, he really cares, right? Like he spent time thinking about that, and it drives him to do what he does. So I think that's super, super important. Robin, not necessarily about your why, but like, what advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self, I would say be a sponge. Learn, 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 soak in knowledge, because with knowledge comes confidence. With confidence comes, I think, more productivity. I think people want a knowledgeable realtor, and the more you know, and the more you understand the market, and you are truly feel comfortable with your approach and everything that you do, then I feel like you're going to be able to grow your business more. So I think knowledge is key in everything that we do. We have a lot of responsibility and a lot of liability that you carry. Don't take it lightly. You can see with a lot of the lawsuits and stuff, but I think knowledge is very important. Every day we should be growing.
And we see that, like, really great agents all taking notes, right? Because there's so much still all of us have to learn. Kenny, what about you?
So when I first started, I went to Eddie. Hey, help me out. I don't know what I'm doing. Somebody put us together. And I had zero thought that any of this was possible. My goal, I wanted to replace my teacher salary. And I told Eddie, even like take my coaching supplement away, because I'm not going to be putting in the extra time coaching, because I was a football coach and high school teacher. I was like, take the coaching part away, just my teaching salary. I think it was $38,000. That's it. That was what I wanted to do, period. Dream big, like dream huge. There's no reason not to. What do you do, fail? Okay, so dream little and you'll still get your little dream, or don't get your little dream. You still didn't get the big one that you dream big, go for the biggest things you can imagine, because when you surround yourself with small-minded, small-thinking people, you can't think any bigger than that. It's hard. There's a ceiling. You start getting in bigger rooms with bigger people, dreaming bigger, thinking bigger, all of a sudden you can see bigger. The things that are available to us in this industry are wow. Never had a clue. Just that, dream as big as you can, and then you'll figure out what's your why. Why do you want that? And then how do you get there? Because you can't make a plan to sell 100 houses this year if all you want to sell is 10. If you want to sell 10, that's great. But if you actually would love to sell 100, plan to sell 100 and then figure it out. And then also just be curious. Like, be curious about everything. This loan is going sideways. Why? Well, this, and this. Okay, I don't know what that means, Clint. What does that mean? You're never gonna know unless you start asking things, or you go back to your clients and you're like, I don't know, they said this. That's what half the agents out there do. Be curious, figure things out. I mean, it's should be part of what we're doing, trying to learn every day. So those are the two things for me, very big, and be very curious, figure everything out.
I would say find a successful agent
Yep.
that's doing high volume, that's busy. Go to them. Can I shadow you? And when I say shadow them, I mean shadow them. You're in the car with them, you're listening to every conversation. You're hearing what the lender's saying, you're hearing what the appraiser's saying, you're hearing the inspection items coming up. Heather, when she and I first started working together, she'd say, I learn more riding in the car with you with this speaker system than I learn anytime. But spend time with them. Go out on the, go out to showings and everything with them, because you're gonna learn so much being there. But find that agent that you can work with and follow and just learn from them. Be a sponge.
That's awesome.
You were supposed to say that at the Bible study. What I would say is, if you see gaps, right, like things that you're having a hard time doing, whether it's picking up the phone or reaching out to past clients or whatever it is, figure out what that struggle is and find an accountability partner, find a mentor, find somebody that will hold your feet to the fire, but then also do that to somebody else. I feel like I learned more trying to teach other agents than I did anything else. So, when you have that community, it helps.
We want to open it up to questions. So if you've got a question, stand up, speak loudly. Yeah.
So question for you guys, I guess all have teams, what is the plan for your business when you are done with it? Maybe is there intent to sell it or hand it off, or just out of curiosity, what's your long-term plan?
I can go first because mine's pretty easy. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, and it's the real back and forth, like how does that work? Do we think it's something we can grow and sell? Yes. We're so far away from that I'm wasting my time and energy thinking about that yet. Because it's gonna take a lot of thought, and so I really don't know yet.
I love what I do. I don't feel like it's work. That's a blessing to find that in life. And, I don't know that, I'll ever be retired. I think I'll always be hands-on with the business. And my son, he's recently got his, license as well. And I have another son that expresses quite a bit of interest in real estate. So, that might be something that steps up in leadership, many years down the road. But, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I guess that's it.
I don't feel like I work a whole lot right now. We find something you love, you don't work at it. But I got an 11-year-old and I'm kind of proud of it. So.
How about you, Justin?
I'm a little bit different. So right now I'm working with an agent who is a mega producer. She's 86 years old. She sold $100 million last year. When they talk about finding someone that mentors you, do that. Because I have created a bond with this person, and we have a lunch once a month, and we have for 7 years. And last month, she said, I think I'm done. And here's what she said. If you would be good enough and nice enough to me to take care of my team and my database, I'm gonna let you have it. Now, I turned around and said, how about let's do a retirement plan and I'll give you referral on everything out of your database until you and your husband are gone. And she shook my hand and we wrote it on a napkin and I've got it right now in my office. Now, I don't know when she's gonna quit. She's got 17 under contract this month. But I'll be happy to do a referral fee with her and I would probably pass the torch and do the same thing again. Because that's a huge blessing and it's an honor to be able to, someone to think that's. So I would say either pass it to family. If you want to work till you die, that's fine. I want to enjoy life. So I would like to have a business that I've created that I can pass down to someone who is really passionate about doing it. That's it.
I love it. Any other questions?
I have a quick question. So where do you feel like when you got into, like, how many years into real estate, do you feel like you were to build a referral? Like, a lot of y'all are saying, like, very high numbers, just referral only. So like, we moved here from Kentucky 12 years ago. So I had no friends, no family in the area when I moved here. So I am 4 years in now, and I'm just now starting to kind of see referral business come my way. So is there a certain year, like year 4, year 5, year 6, that you feel like most of your transactions are referral based?
But for me, it really started pretty quick. So.
Were you from the area?
I
Okay.
Where'd you go to high school?
left.
And you taught at?
She's about to look all y'all up.
In the yearbook.
Yeah.
No, I want to know, because it makes a difference.
It does.
It makes a difference. It's the referral.
Well, and I think that was probably my biggest struggle becoming an agent, is because, like, I'm really good at networking and that's how I built my business, how I built it and been successful with it, but I knew no one.
Yeah.
And I still have a very, to me, I feel like, probably compared to you all that are locals, I still feel like I have a small, circle there.
I would say the thought of being from here and having an advantage, absolutely. I don't think, me personally, I would struggle somewhere else. Not now, but initially I would have, because I would have been too nervous to do the things I needed to do. But now I could go do it because I know the things. You just have to do it. Yeah, I mean, there's a plan there,
Like, what would you
just
do?
have to go.
What would you do?
I'd start joining this B&I group next door, right? Like, every single one of us walked past that and saw it, and everybody in here has an opportunity to figure out who runs it and join. There you go. So I'm joining that. Where do my kids play soccer? What church do I go to? Am I going to eat at restaurants and sitting down? Am I going in there and having coffee every morning somewhere just to start being around people and meeting people? Because as you're meeting people, you will become, like, I was a teacher. I was a coach. I was a friend. I wasn't, Kenny's a realtor. I had to turn that into that. You're a realtor. So when you're meeting people today, you're already a realtor. So it's not that, yeah, I think there's an advantage there. Yeah, absolutely. How many people from Mount Juliet? Mount Juliet was 9,000 people 20 years ago. So Mount Juliet's not just people from Mount Juliet. Neither is Lebanon, neither is Nashville. It's people from all over the place. So I don't have the advantage with, honestly, a lot of people in the room right now because we didn't go to high school together. So it is an advantage, but it's not, it's a lot of people that are from here or that live here are not from here. So
The opportunities are all around when we're looking for opportunities, right? Like if we're looking for it, there's people that we bump into every single day that we can develop relationships with or set appointments with. But we have to be looking for it and like seeking it.
Let me add something to that. I think you're thinking about that wrong, right? Because, just because Kenny was here, knew a lot of people, if he was a crappy person, they wouldn't be referring.
Yep.
Right? So if you're thinking about it that way, it's not going to come, people are not just going to send you business because of who you are. Or excuse me, they're not going to send you business just because you've done more business, right? you gotta be the right person, you gotta be showing them that value, because, I mean, you guys see why he gets the referrals, right? He treats people right, he does the right things. That, I think if you, and I'm saying that from a modular board that was born and raised here, right? So I've had some of that.
But there
too.
are a lot of realtors that have been in the business a long time, that have been born and raised here, that don't do business. Y'all do as well. So there's a difference, and I think a lot of that's in your activities and your systems that you'll put in place.
Don't expect the referrals to come just because you've been here for this amount of time,
Yeah.
or go do the work.
Question?
What would you do to start off? You moved to a new, you moved to Atlanta at once.
First thing I would do, I'd spend 60 days and know everyone who is in an influential spot in town. What I would do, and I'd say, can I follow you for a day? Can I talk to you for an hour? Can we have a lunch? That's what I would do, because those people are going to connect you. You have got to be a connector in this business. If you are not a connector in this business, you are not going to have a business. It'll be transactional, okay? Got to connect with people early on. And you said how many years? Depends. How much activity you gonna do? I'm gonna ask the question right back. Like, are you gonna spend an hour a day doing it? You gonna spend 4 hours a day doing it? If you're gonna spend 5 hours a day doing it, I'm gonna say it's take you less than a year, and you're gonna kill it. If you're gonna spend 30 minutes a day or 2 hours a week or something like that, it's gonna take you 5 or 6 years. I mean, connector activity, got to be a connector. You never want to be the smartest one in the room, and don't project like you are. Every room I go into, I want to be the dumbest one in it. I'm serious, I do. I want to be the dumbest one, because you can learn so much. Like, we were in coaching programs, right? Those people were doing 150, 200 million in volume a year. I was on call with those people and getting crushed. So I'm like, well, what did you do to get that lead from that person? I mean, a divorce attorney, I'm not planning on getting a divorce. I don't even like attorneys. They said, learn to like them. Okay? So then I had 4 or 5 clients that ended up getting divorces, unfortunately. I said, who's your attorney? And they set up a lunch. And I went with them to their next consultation with the husband and the wife that was getting a divorce. So now I have 4 divorce attorneys that refer me.
Is that what you say when you say the connector would be influential? Is that like connecting with attorneys? Is that?
Whatever. I mean, I would start with lenders. And I'll tell you why, because lenders have to be really good. If they're good and have a good business, they have to be good at what we're talking about. And they're aligned in our business. So you can come ask them questions and it correlates. Okay? It's hard to talk to an attorney. Okay? It's hard to talk to, someone who writes wills, stuff like that, elder law stuff. It's boring. Okay? But those people have value, but you can't go into that room and feel like you have a seat at the table until you have some experience. But these guys can help you get there. Okay?
And I will say, we tend to think connectors, well, they own businesses or it could be anybody. Like a connector could be a kindergarten teacher at school that loves you, and everybody they meet, they're like, oh, you've got to do business with her. She will sell your house for more money than you could ever imagine. And you're like, oh, this person is she's spreading my name to everybody that she meets. But we think, well, they must own a business to be a connector. Or they've got to be in sales. It's like, no. It could be anybody. Our eyes just have to be open to it and be looking for it. And when we find them, we're aware of it.
And they have to know that you're a realtor too.
Okay.
You can't just assume that they know.
And I'll give you guys one of my wins. Over 10 leads a year from this one person. The director of youth sports. Okay? Why? Because every time somebody moves to town, they want to sign their kids up for sports. The first person he says, do you have a house? Where are you living? Where are you zoned? He asks those 3 questions and he does a group text with their permission every single time without fail.
That's awesome.
Now, a lot of them are relocated. So they have relocation companies or they have a realtor they have to use. But hey, I'll talk to them and I'll meet them and he introduces or I'll see them in Little League. And then I start to build a relationship. Then all their family that follows them, I'm in there. They're on my letter of the heart every single month. I've written a letter of the heart for 9 years, every single month without fail. It goes out by the 15th of every month. You mail it.
Handwriting?
I type it out and then I mail it, but it goes to over 640 people every single month.
I would say to join the chamber, go to chamber meetings, Rotary, anything civic, and find a local charity nonprofit that's near and dear to your heart, and you'll meet people.
Yeah, and I am a small business owner as well in the community, and I have, I've joined the chamber and all that, and I guess my thing was when I had asked, I'm really good about building things out of the box, and thinking out of the box. My question more was as far as like the referrals, if you felt like, which I know, like you said, depending on how heavy hitter you are, depends on how quick it's gonna get. But yes, I'm a big networker. Sometimes I know networking is not working, but I network.
To answer your question, I think
Yeah.
year three. I think year three
On
that
average.
you really start to see. I
Okay.
had realtors tell me that year one and I thought,
Well, because that's
how
what
did you get that? Well, sure enough, year three.
Yeah, because I started to see some last year, but it seems like it's more this year. So that's why I was thinking, like, is there like a number y'all felt like?
I think year
Yeah.
three, you really start to see that progression from your prior clients you've worked with, and a lot of them are already coming back around and buying or selling again.
Yeah. Well, and that's when you know that you've taken really good care of it. Yes.
Chelsea, did you have a question?
Mine is for whenever you decide to hire a transaction coordinator, what did y'all decide? What kind of like duties did y'all give them? Just because I have like so much control issues.
Everything.
But, and I feel like when they work with me, they want me and me responding to them. And so that's what I'm struggling with. I have an assistant, but all she does is put my paperwork into our system. Like she doesn't send the paperwork, get the signatures, all day. So whenever y'all first hired your assistant or transaction coordinator, kind of what duties did you give them?
I would imagine when we first did it, we all probably messed it up. Like, it's hard at first, but what I've learned, because that's how I still meddle with what they're doing. And I catch myself, sometimes I don't catch myself, but I mess it up. When they're communicating this or that, and then I step in and make a call about this or that. And then they're like, oh yeah, she already told me. Well, I look like a fool. I don't have it together. Well, it's my fault because I did the thing she's supposed to be doing. She's very good at what she does. So why do I feel the need to do that? What I need to do is call her, say, hey, exactly where are we with this? I'm just gonna call them with an update. And then I call them with an update. And it's information that's good. And so it's very hard, but you have to let them go and do. As long as there's a system that they follow and you know that they will follow it. That's the hard part. If you're training that person, that could be hard.
When you find the right person, you won't have trouble handing it off.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to find that person. But like he said, when you find that person, you feel comfortable. For me, Heather, when she does everything, I'm getting copied on everything she's sending to clients. But at the end of the day, it makes you look more professional, right? Because you're successful enough that you can have someone helping you with this. And at the end of the day, I mean, how many times, if it was on us to remember to tell them every utility company they need to go to at closing tomorrow and transfer, that is things that I don't have to worry about that. She's taking care of that, but I'm seeing the email that's going out, so I know it's getting taken care of. The client sees I'm in that, but we also use a program called Smart Sheets that Heather has, and I can log into her Smart Sheets and I can see, she has a spreadsheet that when I say it's long as this table, it takes her hours, at least an hour, hour and a half, you say, Heather, for every single transaction when she starts one from the beginning to get the initial everything in, but then it automatically sends the emails out based on what she's put in that transaction sheet. So Smart Sheets is something to look at if you're not using that.
I would say the most common mistake I see and that I made was being overwhelmed, hiring someone, not training them well, then they don't do well, and then it doesn't work out, and then we say, it just doesn't work. You can't, nobody can do it as good as me. The problem was me. I didn't spend the time to train them because by the time we hire, we're already swamped. So now we've got this new person and everything's gonna now be slower because instead of just doing it, you've got to show someone how to do it and explain to them not just how to do it, but why they're doing it. And so it actually slows you down at first. And instead of being, I don't want to be slowed down, I want to be sped up. So it's like, watch me do it, and I'm not going to talk, or here, you just do it. And then they don't do it well. And it's like, well, they suck. It's like, no, I suck because I didn't take the time to actually train them. So it's knowing that the next 60 to 90 days may be a slower period because I can't do all the other stuff I'm doing. But at the end of that 90 days, I'm going to be running full speed faster than ever because somebody now has all of the stuff that was slowing me down. But it's a mindset thing because if you think You're just gonna hire somebody and go, here, take all of this stuff. And I've done that more than once and it didn't work. And you just gotta realize like, yeah, this may slow me down for a minute, but I'm gonna do this right. Because I'm gonna train this person one time or until they get it, and then I don't ever have to do that ever again. If it's inputting a listing or whatever the task is, it is so freeing to never do it again ever for the rest of your life. And if you think about it that way, you'll do it properly on the front end and not rush it.
And in regards to mindset, I think also, I think majority of us in this industry are like A-type personalities. We want to control things. We think everyone wants to talk to us. And you had said that too. And one of the biggest things with my coaching that I've did is that people don't necessarily want to talk to me per se. They just want the right answer
And fast.
and fast. So if you're tied up with a showing or a listing appointment and somebody calls and they want to get an answer and you're like, they want to talk to me, I need to give them that answer, but yet your assistant can easily give them that answer while you're at your listing appointment quickly, they're satisfied. They don't need to talk to you. And I think getting over the fact that they need to talk to me is really hard. It's a big hurdle. But once you do that, it's freeing. Because then you're like, oh, wow, I just freed up. That's something I don't have to go research or I don't have to go do or ask my assistant. She already had the answer to give.
A lot of it's expectation too, like setting an expectation up front that this is how this will go.
Yeah.
They will call you when this, I'll call you when this, but they'll call you when this. If you can't get a hold of me, give them a call. And if the assistant doesn't know the answer or can't get it to them, a lot of times, I'll have Chelsea call you back is enough, but it's not just silence. It's not just,
So I'm gonna help you out on this because I was a control freak when I started. And I learned this on my third hire. Okay, so I'm gonna save you two. All right, every night before you go to bed, have a download of what you want them to do. Okay, that's number one. Number two, have a time set around 10 to 11 a.m. for you to review everything you asked them to do. This is a 60-day process. So if it was for them to do a repair amendment, you have them write it. You tell them what to write. Do not tell them anything. Only say the client wants items 2A, 3B, whatever on the repair. Have them write it, okay? If they are to send an email out, if they're to send something to a title company, a package, and tell them to save every email as a draft and save everything before they send it. That's number two. You guys have to have 30 to 45 minutes every day for 60 days for you to review it with them. After that long, they understand how you talk. They start to respond like you. It's going to force you to train them. It's going to force them to listen to you. And then you're going to say, okay, by about day 35, you're going to say, man, all right, maybe I don't need to meet you. No, just keep meeting you. Because there's going to be some other nuance that they haven't encountered or how to approach it. The last part of this deal for you to feel good is every client, I tell them, every email you get is from the Justin Tucker team email, okay? Any email that is sent to you, I have proofread it and I know about it.
This is in the first 60 days.
I tell every client that to this day, but always send them that anyway and tell every client that as soon as you have a hire, anything you're getting, I know about. And you tell your employee, do not send it unless I know about it. Okay, then your client never questions you and they know you're always involved. And then there's going to be a day that you don't have to be involved in the closing date amendment. Okay, you can say, Julie, send the closing date amendment. But your client's like, hey, she's on it. So it's all about setting that precedent with our clients and our team. And once they know, like she don't have any trouble with her team. She knows what they do.
And
I don't
talking
either.
them up too, right? Like,
Talking them
you're
up.
like, hey, Susie on my team's amazing. You're gonna love her. She handles this kind of thing. Then they're not expecting, they don't hear from you, they hear from Susie. Like, oh yeah, she's amazing, right?
I'm telling you right now, my team is better than I am at everything that they do. Okay? The only thing that I'm better than them is prospecting. And that's my only number one job.
And that's the thing that makes you better.
That's that.
We have time for one more question. Yeah.
Justin, when you said this, how you call it every person that calls you. I've been in business for 8 years, but I hate talking on the phone.
You're in the wrong business.
No, I love to talk, but it's like the drawn out phone conversations. Like how can we get to the phone? Because I have this personality where everybody just oh, she's my friend, and that's fine, but it's like, can we cut this short? I have somebody else to talk to.
Alright. So you, when you get the voicemail,
Mhm.
you text him and say, hey, I'm gonna call you in 10 minutes. And I'm gonna have about 5 minutes before I go into my next showing. I'll give you a call at 11:18. And you call them at 11:18, and they already know that you got 5 minutes. And you might be going to McDonald's, it don't matter.
Okay.
Okay, that's gonna help you, okay? So that's great.
I love that.
Well, yeah, one more. I got one that's kind of piggybacking off that. So when you're prospecting, especially not past clients, maybe an acquaintance or something, are there, like bullet points and takeaways that you want to take away from that conversation besides just a touch? And just like, you need anything, no, anything right now, okay, I'll talk to you again next month or 3 months or whatever it is. Is there, I guess what I'm asking, I'm in my second year of this and don't mind calling people, and they're usually happy with their, thank you, checking in with me and all that, but I just want to make sure that I'm not missing a close or a takeaway, you know.
Alright, so give me an example of who you're calling. What loan officer invited you here?
Chris,
Okay, so if you call Chris, like he should be on your VIP list.
Yeah.
He's very important. Obviously, you come here for him.
Sure.
All right, so if you call him this month, what are you talking about?
what I've been doing, does he have, anything I can help him with? If I have a, lead referral to give him.
Yep.
You know, I work a lot with renters, I'm helping a property management group, just with showings and
Yep.
admin kind of stuff. And in exchange, we need a little bit of money, but they're allowing me to keep all the leads that I, accrued through the inquiries and things like that. So a big part of my database is following up with those guys and, you know, asking if they need anything, if they didn't rent something that we had, did you find something, are you happy with it? You know, is there anything I can help you with at the moment? And most of the time, they say, no, we don't need anything, we're happy where we are. A couple of them have said, this is the last place we're gonna rent before we buy, maybe later this year. You know, aside from me saying, okay, great, have a great day, talk to you again in a month or 3 months.
Set a time to call him back.
Yeah. And is, I mean, is there anything that I should, do you think that I should ask them for? Getting off the phone?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Every single time you get off the phone. Okay, that's great. I'm gonna write you down. I'm gonna talk to you in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, because I want to get you halfway there because we need to get you with Chris. If you're gonna rent for 6 more months, in case there's something we need to fix, right?
Right.
Credit wise, I want to get you to my lender who I'm super loyal to, that's done a lot for me. But I'm gonna need your help before we buy your house this year. Who else do you know that may be renting, or you may work with, or going to church with, or whatever, that I can help? And say, will you help me? Because I'm gonna help you get what you want. So, and I'm gonna stay on top of that. And that means you gotta do it. So this is high accountability for yourself, right? You're putting yourself out there, get chopped. But then you ask back. It's when you, I guess the step you take is when you do that, you're putting yourself there and you're like, okay, I've got to do this. But they know you're putting yourself out there. They feel it on the other side of the phone, right? So it's like, you ask them, who do you know? Okay, 50% of the time I get a name. Yeah, they're not all good. Okay, it's half the time it's a waitress or a waiter that hadn't paid taxes, okay? But a name is something. Right, so it's another conversation I can call.
Even if they're not looking to buy, right, the renters, do they know you're a realtor when you're talking to them?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, just asking for the business, right? I mean, that's, I think,
You gotta ask,
pretty strong theme.
ask. Every time you're on the phone, ask. Ask, every time.
I'll add a little bit to that. There's a really good book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And the principle of it is giving 3 things before you ask for something. So that might be a good thing.
Last question.
If you were prospecting and going a call route, what has been the best source, whether it's, you know, I saw your home when I was doing an open house and make a beautiful listing, what has been your best source for getting good phone numbers? If you're a new agent, you don't have a lengthy database. Does anybody got a good source?
I think-
Good phone numbers?
Now, some of you may be too young for Facebook, but I think first of all, maybe I would probably go to tax records. I would look at their name. I would then go to Facebook. I would look, do we have any mutual friends? And then I may call that friend or text that friend and say, hey, would you know how to get in touch with them? That might help me to get that done. Or it may be that another friend is friends, then they may be able to reach out to them and get a number from them. If you're trying to just find a number and call, that would be, and I hear a lot of people having a lot of success with white pages, giving cell numbers. Sometimes I think we work for the FBI.
That's our way. Kind of like it all.
Hey, guys, we have lunch here, and so we are gonna wrap up and spend some time, grabbing lunch. Thank you so much for showing up and sharing your information. Was this helpful? This was helpful. Please raise your hand. Can't say thank you enough to take the time out of your day, out of your week, to prepare for this and to do this. And I know, I mean, even sitting up here, I don't sell real estate, and I'm making notes and I have takeaways from this. So I know all of you guys do as well. We are going to have a drawing, and to get entered into the drawing that we need your help for, Brandy is going to walk around and pick up.
Hey, we need, yes, all right, can we talk about that?
Oh, and before she does that, Justin is going to give us that last tip.
Whoever invited you here, write their name, is it on the?
They have to write.
Right at the top of the page.
You have any extra? No. Oh, sorry.
He won't be as honest. But we'll do it next time.
Yeah, I'll take one.
I'll share.
Yeah.
I moved for years of green.
All right, everybody got your form? Okay, form. All right, that's a real, follow direction, come here. Come in here. All right. Now, the purpose of this is to give these guys value back. So if you're gonna eat lunch today, you gotta put a name on this paper. Got it? All right, so put their name at the top. And if you have anybody, number one, that has not been pre-approved, put it on that sheet. Not been pre-approved, put it on the sheet. Just for them to talk to them, or you just talk to these guys about them. Okay, this is not for them to call your lead today. It's for you to have a conversation with these guys about how you can help your lead. Okay, because you know more about them than they do right now. So put any names on there that they can help today, that they can talk to you about after this. That's number one. Number two, if you have anyone who's under contract that you need just a little advice and a second opinion to make sure they're getting the best deal and they're in the right program. Okay? When everybody's done, let me know. Remember, one lead you send, 2 to 3 you get back. How the laws of this deal works. So every lead you send, you get 1 or 2 back. It's probably not gonna be from them, but they're gonna give you enough value to get that. Does anybody not have anything on their page? Who don't have any names on their page? No name, no name. Come on. Help me out. You got a name. Now, if I said, which I'm gonna say, if for every name you have on your list, you're gonna be in a drawing to get a $500 gift card today. Now, keep writing. Because every lead is money, right? Every lead is money. We're gonna see how many leads you get today. All right, but I'll tell you what I'm gonna do for them. We're gonna do another drawing for.
Third drawing?
A third drawing.
Third drawing.
Third drawing. And you're gonna get a gift card for $250. It's gonna be one person's name, but if you have 2 leads on there, you get two chances. And I will mail it out for them. All right, I got that. Make sense? Alright, now this is what you need to do with your clients. Don't give them gift cards, but you need to give them enough value and show them that this is how we run our business. We run our business this way. Like, this is how you get CCRs. You ask them every time you talk to them. How many times we talk to our clients about a transaction? I mean, I talk to mine 7 or 8 times. Sometimes 5 times too many. But we still love them.
Are you a big talker?
I'm just trying to help.
Well, I wasn't trying to be funny, I was waiting for. You like when I
She loves talking all the time.
I've heard stories, and get leads from like, waiters, waitresses.
I've seen some things.
Yeah. Hey, we had a happy hour with them. How many leads did you get at that happy hour?
I like.
There was 20 something.
Got 20-something leads at a happy hour. Closed 7 of them.
That's good.
Paid for that happy hour.
They come back around and he said, no, that's not good enough.
No, I asked him, I said, is this your best? Is this your best? All right, done. You're done. Turn them in.
We're going.
Yeah.
Brandy is gonna come around and pick those up. We appreciate Justin, doing that and offering gift cards. That's unexpected. This was unplanned.
I didn't know this.
Hey guys, are y'all gonna be around? We're gonna grab food. So, they'll be here. So if you've got questions or if you wanna grab them while they're eating, I'm sure they will be fine with that. You may have a question that you didn't get to ask or some clarification that you need. As soon as we can get these picked up, we're gonna do the drawing and we'll be done. Sorry. Oh, yeah, and if you're online and not here, we can't see you, but thank you for attending. Come next time in person, you'll get food.
Thank you.
Sir?